Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this SHOUTcraft Invitational number 4, and we are currently setting up ThorZaIN v DarKFoRcE.
Yes, indeed. The first map of this awesome best of 3. I'm sure it will be. This is going to be so good. It's going to be on TotalBiscuit Ladder Edition. So if you play Ladder and you play TotalBiscuit, this is the map we're going to play on, guys. DarKFoRcE is very, very good versus Terran. I think it's his strongest matchup by quite a distance, actually.
Yeah.
Compared to Zerg vs. Zerg is pretty good. Zerg vs. Protoss not as good, but Zerg vs. Terran, he definitely shines. On the other hand, we have ThorZaIN, who has struggled a lot in this matchup for a very long time. His slow, methodical play doesn't really work out as well in this matchup because you don't want to let a Zerg do that because then they go Brutals, Infestor, and blah, 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 blah. It gets rough. So that's kind of why ThorZaIN doesn't do as well here, but he's been working on it very much so. His drops, his multitasking, his timings, very, very precise.
It's very, very
so
true.
this is going to be definitely a good game between both of these guys. And the first map, like I said, TotalBiscuit, which is DarKFoRcE's map pick, of course. Nice Zerg map compared to Terran.
Yeah, this is going to be intriguing. I mean, honestly, ThorZaIN would have really wanted to win that first game. I mean, not only is it good for morale, but it was being his only game in this group against a player that isn't Zerg. It's the way that the groups worked out. ThorZaIN ended up with 2 Zerg players, and neither of them are slouches. So that's scary. Stefano, we've seen those matchups before, and Stefano generally comes out on top versus ThorZaIN. So that's going to be a dangerous matchup for him later on. And really, if he doesn't win this, he's going to be in... he's not necessarily out, because, of course, he did take a map. So bear in mind that the way that groups work is that if we do not have 2 clear winners, and there's a tie, it's going to come down to first map score and then head-to-head. Yeah. So taking a map in the first game, the first set was helpful.
Always important.
That was important. So you know, it's certainly possible. It's certainly possible to get a 3-way tie in the bottom of the group. Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it in terms of football, for example, you know, the highest at the end when the league finishes, if 2 players or 2 teams, sorry, have the same points, it always comes down to goal
difference,
scored, and then head-to-head or something like that. But we're going to go maps here, very similar, basically. Yeah. ThorZaIN just answering the doorbell, and then we'll be able to get on with it. So, oh yeah, DarKFoRcE. Sorry, we'll be able to do that, and let's go.
DarKFoRcE taking delivery of fresh kittens to eat. That's just the way that he is. That's how he prepares for ZVT.
And DarKFoRcE, man, I remember him beating Alive in NASL Season 1 finals.
That was a good match.
I was like,
yes.
He beats a Korean, what? DarKFoRcE is just an underdog. And he was like
only European to get out of the round of 16 in that tournament.
Yeah. And he was showing so much emotion after that win. It was incredible. But let's see if he can do this. It's a very important match for both of these players. Let's begin. Yeah. ThorZaIN vs. DarKFoRcE, both of them having lost their first game in this group. Obviously, they need to win, or not need to, but if they want to go through and secure that position, they have to start winning games.
Yeah, they really do.
They have to win games. So, let's begin the games.
Let us indeed begin the games, and unfortunately, the gods of Blizzard did not smile upon us. Neither does the gods of France, apparently.
The French casting. Come on, guy.
French caster is lagging out here. We did bring in a different language caster.
So we'll just have to give him a second.
Indeed we will. For some inexplicable reason, it's not working out for him.
Well, all the French are going to have to come watch this stream.
Yep, I'm sorry.
And you have to put up with our English jokes over to you guys, sorry.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Look, TotalBiscuit's whited and right already. Sorry, guys. You got well, maybe they haven't come over yet, so...
No, TotalBiscuit. TotalBiscuit. He says they've already got one. Are you sure he's got one? Yes, it's very nice. I told them we already got one. Zerator.
Maybe Stefano's watching, he's going to hate us.
Zerator is dead.
That was
Long live Zerator.
Funny what ThorZaIN said then. Because it was ZZZ, like, oh.
Zerglings.
He's like building Zerglings.
Oh my god. Alright, let's do it. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to bring you this player right here, who had a brave series against Stefano. It was so close as well, but Stefano ekes out the win. And DarKFoRcE, yes. Or should I say, in fact...
Alternate attacks, DarKFoRcE.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to miss an opportunity, folks. I'm not going to miss an opportunity anymore. We did that at the start. That was bad.
Yeah.
Oh yes, he's playing in the red trunks to the northwest of this, the TotalBiscuit Malta, versus his opponent, Spoon Terran, as he goes by the name of, he is
Mouse Sports ThorZaIN.
And he is in the kind of light bluish trunks down to the southeast of the TotalBiscuit Malta there. But yeah, as you said, DarKFoRcE has very, very scary ZVT.
Yeah, and cross positions already makes it a little bit difficult for ThorZaIN. And being in cross positions, why it's difficult? Because your timings don't really work here, because they get scouted so fast, and because the distance is cross position, it enables DarKFoRcE to set up flanks. He can enable himself already to deal with your timing, and it's very easy from there. And if you lose that timing, you lose 3-4 tanks or your Marines, you automatically almost lose the game. Yeah. If you lose a wave of timing attack, it's very difficult to recover from. So basically, ThorZaIN has to outplay DarKFoRcE later on. And even though that's very difficult for Terran players, ThorZaIN has shown us some incredible late game against Zerg with many ghosts. Lots of sniping action, lots of EMPs, so I'm definitely intrigued to see how that goes down.
Yeah, I have to wonder if DarKFoRcE will try and win this in the mid game as a result of that. DarKFoRcE did in fact play in a tournament that ThorZaIN played in recently that we cast. It was the IPL4 UK qualifier.
Yeah.
And that actually is when ThorZaIN showed a lot of ghosts, like more so than we've ever really seen from him before. And ghosts are now so prevalent in the late game against Zerg because they pretty much counter everything. Yeah. They do. They counter Broodlords perhaps better than Ultras, but they counter both, one way or the other, and that's going to be a bit of a problem. I don't think DarKFoRcE is going to want to get to that stage. Yeah,
I mean, if you can just try to keep ThorZaIN off of 4th base, that's ideal, because trying to keep him off of 3rd is going to be pretty tough. To try to get around that cliff area towards the rocks and so on, it's going to be hard, but keeping him off of 4th is going to be the best thing here for him. But yeah, like you said, kind of head-to-head, these guys, ThorZaIN's pretty comfortable in the lead, usually. I mean, he wins more than he loses against DarKFoRcE for sure. Yep. So we'll have to see how that does go down. I mean, DarKFoRcE has kind of had a stunt against ThorZaIN, because ThorZaIN is very good. DarKFoRcE is very good late game, but ThorZaIN's late game is also of equal standards. So we do have the command center barracks into command center for ThorZaIN, then factory. I wouldn't be surprised if he just went reactor Hellion from here, just a little bit delayed, just to try to slow down that creep. Because if you don't, it will literally be on your front door by the 15-minute mark. So you have to try to slow it down. Meanwhile, pretty standard build from DarKFoRcE. Looks like he's just gone for the hatchery into speed and is expanding and may even take a fast 3rd base. My oh my Delilah. That is a second command center coming up right here from ThorZaIN. His Korean style, man, it always shines, doesn't it? I mean, probably out of all the players that I've seen go to Korea and come back, ThorZaIN's the one that has just shown Korean style over and over and over. It doesn't revert back to like a European style. And they love their 3rd bases, man. He does not want to swap over right now. He's surely, I know he sees the Ling. Yeah, I was going to say, that could have just been so disastrous to actually let that Ling in and show that second CC there. Yeah. And it looks like DarKFoRcE now is going back into gas with all 3. He's building 12 Lings. So he's already known that there's a 3rd commander down without scouting it. By indirectly scouting, he knows there's a fast 3rd because of the factory timing. It's later than it should be, which means what has gone on? Obviously, there's a command center first, but now he's starting to put pieces together and be like, well, ThorZaIN's known for this, he's probably going to do this, doesn't have many units out, and can already start to guess. And he also is now going up to, we'll be going up to layer very, very shortly, and it looks like we're going to see Mulus play, which is interesting, I think, from DarKFoRcE. He doesn't really usually do that a lot, but we'll see. We'll see. No, he doesn't. In his ZVT, he does get really hyper-aggressive, and seeing this amount of Lings at this stage of the game doesn't surprise me in any way, honestly. I've seen him do this quite frequently in online tournaments that I've had the pleasure to cast him in, so it should work out fairly well for him. I was thinking he was going to go layers. He built up his gas ready to do so, but he built more Lings, and he's just going to go for upgrades and then into taking a fast 3rd base, which is more his style. He's not really a 2-base Spire kind of guy, especially against somebody that fast expands, because by the time meters come, you literally have more stuff to deal with it, so it kind of gets a little bit difficult. Very active scouting here from DarKFoRcE, making sure that ThorZaIN can't scout anything. But the Hellion count is getting a little bit high here, and he just built 10 more drones. So he's going to have to start building some more Lings for sure. Actually builds a Roach Warren, getting a little bit scared of these Hellions, man.
Yep, the Roach one is going down right now, as you can see, up to the wall off there. I like the wall off that DarKFoRcE has created here. It's actually very effective. That's going to funnel those Hellions very nicely.
Yeah.
And the threat of that is forcing a particular reaction there from DarKFoRcE. ThorZaIN's going to use them one way or the other, though. The problem is, because things he knows about these Lings, and that kind of makes me curious as to why he's leaving that minimal line undefended there.
Yeah, counterattacks are so important for Zerg to do, and just one Ling. Oh, ThorZaIN comes back. He just actually takes his Alnoga Tower, and that's it, because he knows about those Lings being on the right-hand side.
Yeah,
so.
I have to wonder if that was to try and draw them out, but DarKFoRcE is not dumb enough to fall into that trap. Unfortunately, he's going to get roasted anyway, because he decided not to leave, and, well, that's most of those Lings annihilated quite easily there. In the meantime, the third is going down quite quickly here for DarKFoRcE, but that would still put him one base behind once that CC gets deployed.
Let's have a look at the drone count. 48 at the moment, so it's not gone out of control yet. 2 base saturation has been achieved for DarKFoRcE, but he will build a lot of units now to defend against any poking pressure from Hellions, and then we'll start to build drones towards that third base. He currently has +1 carapace about to finish, which is going to help a bit against these Hellions, and if he gets a surround, that's obviously going to help out.
Well, that's not a surround.
Noises,
yep.
but if he goes too far on creep, he will get surrounded, and there is enough Lings there to get a good surround, so
yeah,
ThorZaIN sees it as well, but ThorZaIN's not looking to do any timings. He's just going to try and outplay him later on, as you can see with that fast third, and trying to take that very, very shortly here.
Yeah, ThorZaIN does need to get some information, actually, about this third base, I feel. It's sending one Hellion, or indeed just all of them around the side when they're off creep would be a good idea. He's going to see that, and he'll also have a good firing position here. He can actually create a line of Hellions there, which means that everything coming in that direction is going to die very quickly. And we'll have to see. This is going to force some kind of response. As you can see, Lings coming out, lots of them, and a Spire coming out from DarKFoRcE. He's got to do it, because eventually this hatchery will die.
ThorZaIN is active.
It's a two-pronged surround here, but ThorZaIN gets himself into a good position. My God, is that a good position. He knew he was dead, but he took so many Lings with him in the process, and fights to the last, one last spiteful burst of flame. And there, as they say, is that. And honestly, I mean, trade-wise, pretty even.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty good, actually, for ThorZaIN through killing that, and it slowed down the drone production, because it's now only starting because there was so many Lings out and so on.
Yeah,
so,
actually, I want to revise that and say that ThorZaIN actually came out ahead there. I was just looking at the resources lost, and combined with the lost droning time, yeah, he came out ahead there.
And now he's taking a third base. He's got mules planting down there as well now. He's looking really good, actually, but muta production's just now starting. There's not that much gas, because he has gone for double upgrades on the evolution chamber. He's gone +1 carapace, now +1 melee attack as well, and it wasn't really a fast third base, so he doesn't have the gas from that. And now ThorZaIN, I wouldn't even be surprised if he started just powering away in upgrades. Oh, actually, he does have 2 engineering base down now.
Yep.
And it will be just going 1-1, or actually into 2-1, sorry. Already Marines already have 1-0, so 2-1 starting soon.
Yep.
And yeah, he's looking really good at the moment. He's ahead of the Zerg player in economy, in supply, in army, in every way right now.
Yeah, things are looking nice, but the single Ling is here to save the day, and is now going to be drilled to death, unfortunately. But it did a fairly decent job. It picked off a SCV on its own, so it must be very happy for itself.
And I really like the way that he spread his Marine and tanks across the map already. Look at that, 2 tanks there, 2 tanks south of it as well. And look at the radius of them, they like cover each other. So it's really, really good that he's spread so thin. He's just got to be careful about Mutalisk picking them off. So he has to have Marines. He hasn't got combat shields yet, which is a little bit of a late upgrade, actually. And look at his barracks. He actually doesn't have a barracks on a tech lab. So I guess he's not going to be going for a combat shield in a while. That's obviously something he needs to change up. Combat shield's very important here.
Yeah, vitally so, especially against Mutaling, which is what he's up against at the moment. I don't know if that's a particularly comfortable style here for DarKFoRcE, but he doesn't really have all that much of a choice at this stage. Oh, that was a beautiful, beautiful engagement there for DarKFoRcE. Absolutely fantastic.
75 SCVs versus 66 drones.
And 5 mules.
Yeah.
Yeah, the difference is quite staggering, as you can see there.
I wouldn't even be surprised if we saw a 4th command center come down very, very soon. We have a Thor in the mix. Oh, he's just
Smack.
There's no holes right now for DarKFoRcE to even try to get in. And, you know, this is the outplaying we talked about, which ThorZaIN needs to do. And he's doing it, man. He's doing it with flying colors right now. And, you know, we have to start thinking for DarKFoRcE, what does DarKFoRcE do to beat this? He has to start taking up to the infestation pit. He has to look to go to Hive soon, because there's no way he can beat this with what he has at the moment. He's morphing 12 Banelings. There's a lot of spread out tanks and spread out
Let's
Marines
just build
as well.
2 more command centers, because our name is ThorZaIN. That's exactly what's happening here, and he's even putting down a sensor tower to make the defense almost impregnable. But yeah, that lack of combat shield actually could hurt him a lot here. The Banelings are up, and as you can see, damage versus light is currently 39. It still won't one-shot a Marine, even with the +2 upgrade, but it's certainly something to consider, especially in combination with Fungal.
And here come the Mutas. They may actually achieve something here with +1, not that many turrets.
Not a huge number, no, and ThorZaIN doesn't pull off the line quickly enough in order to deal with that, and honestly, it's a good job that he didn't, because it wouldn't have held up so long and he'd have lost yet more SCVs. He's given himself some time in order to bring the Marines in, but once again, no combat shield, so they're taking more damage than necessary there.
And there is a medevac in the bottom left looking to drop on that 4th base very shortly. It did pass an Overseer. It definitely did pass an Overseer, but DarKFoRcE was concentrating on his Mutalisks, so he is not prepared for this. Or actually, I got his hatchery, and he is. I don't think he saw it though. I'm really confident he didn't see it, but he's just expecting a drop to come on his 4th base soon.
Smart.
So he
Very
has some
smart.
units there already. Combat shields finally started.
And Mobius reactor there, so we're looking for Ghost later.
Yeah, it's just ThorZaIN's just flying towards that 200 supply mark, and it's looking really good for him at the moment.
You know what's a really good counter to Banelings, Apollo?
What?
Cliffs. Cliffs are a really good counter to Banelings, as you can very clearly see.
Just a good counter to Cliffs.
Mutas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good too. And they're cleaned up quite nicely there by DarKFoRcE. No problems whatsoever.
Oh, nice sneaky borrowed Zergling. Got to force a scan on that 4th base of ThorZaIN.
Yeah, speaking of burrows, there's actually some borrowed Banelings there, but ThorZaIN knows about that nonsense.
That's so good. ThorZaIN's just playing very well in this game. Look at that. Clearing creep, dropping, expanding.
Bye-bye Marines, but hey, you know, that was to be expected. A bunch of Marines doesn't really matter all that much. But yeah, his macro is absolutely fantastic. He's expanding all over the place. He's trying to stay ahead of DarKFoRcE in that regard, who is now, of course, on the 4th base. And this is, once again, turning into a... Whoa, okay.
That doorbell, man.
It's his 2nd delivery of kittens. It's his 2nd breakfast going in. DarKFoRcE is actually hobbitses.
We do have the carapace upgrade being researched right now for air.
Yeah.
So that's telling us that he wants to go over into Broodlords very shortly here. He has the infestation pit. He has the gas as well.
Yeah.
He just needs to get that 4th base working, because it's not quite up and running yet.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm just beating you up here.
That's
I'm just
okay.
getting angry about this.
GP.
GP.
Yeah, so he will be going to Hive. There we go. It starts it immediately, actually, as we say that after the pause. And we'll be going Broodlords soon, but 4 base and the Ghosts are now in making as well. Good harassment here, though. Very good.
Yeah, really good. +1/+1, and those Marines are forced to stim in, and DarKFoRcE actually not lost. He didn't lose a Muta there, so that's a really great harassment. You know, DarKFoRcE might not be all that comfortable with Muta style, but he's certainly playing it well.
Yeah, he's doing well. I mean, he's kind of slowed ThorZaIN down with Mutas rather than done big damage.
Yeah.
Because there's a Thor in the main, there's turrets everywhere, and there's a sensor tower as well, which is revealing these lings, for example, in the bottom south side. So he's playing very, very well right now. ThorZaIN is, and he's soon to be at 200 supply. He's just waiting, and he's building a lot of Ghosts to fill up that supply count, and then he will start to look to push around the map for sure.
That's exactly what he's going to do. DarKFoRcE expanding again down to the bottom. And Tal'Darum's a good map to start off between players like this, I've got to say. And it's resulting in a very, very large game, very scary game between both of these guys. DarKFoRcE now looking around and, he finds no base. He sees no ships.
Yeah.
Nothing there for the time being.
He actually needs to do something with these Mutas, because they're actually going to be useless very soon.
Yeah.
The upgrades for the Marines are at 2-1. He's working on 3-2, which is
it's
about to finish.
Yeah, that's nasty.
There's Thors, there's Ghosts. These Mutas are actually just taking up supply. They're actually useless right now.
Yeah, DarKFoRcE is maxed. He can't build a single Broodlord. Like, he's going to have to throw his army away. Hang on a second. That's a Nidus Worm coming in right here from DarKFoRcE.
Yeah, he's building a Nidus Worm, and it is... I don't know.
Somewhere.
Is he using it? Is he actually built a
No,
Nidus Worm?
he's building it at the moment. He's
Yeah,
just building he's constructing the Nidus Worm at the moment.
Yeah.
No, I have no idea
unfortunate.
what his plan is with that.
Drop gets picked off in the top right, unfortunately.
Nicely cleaned up there by DarKFoRcE.
Yeah,
so
very
that's good. Yep. admittedly, that does give ThorZaIN more supply to build more ghosts. So, and he's also building 3 more command centers.
He's going to start sacking SCVs soon and just using
Yeah,
mules
he's using mules, and I'm surprised we don't see that more from. It's DarKFoRcE, you sneaky bugger with your borrowed.
Yeah, he's done it everywhere. Like every base has a borrowed Ling almost.
Yeah.
So very good play there from DarKFoRcE. Meanwhile, starports are coming in now as well, so we can start Viking production to add with the ghosts as well.
Nidusworm's coming down. This is probably a reinforcement Nidusworm, I would think, but is there anywhere the Nidus could go out?
It's not an aggressive one, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. I'm not seeing it in his base anywhere.
No, I honestly have no idea.
There's a Nidus down here. He's going to build...
Oh, okay, so...
Well, that's one. Yeah, he's using it to...
flank. So he's going to be attacking on 2 different sides to 2 different 4 and the 5th base. So he's going to be launching Infested Terran down on multiple locations here. The south side and also the top side. So nice late game play here by DarKFoRcE.
Yeah, that's going to deny it for a while anyway, and there come the ghosts for some sniping action, and Banelings do end up detonating with a single ghost left and takes out another Infestor, and one gets into the Nidus just before it's killed. I'm liking this play here from DarKFoRcE. He's now able to strike multiple locations simultaneously and use Infestor harassment against his opponent.
Yeah, he's just trying to choke ThorZaIN's economy from going crazy and out of control, and he's actually going to snipe this command center. He's very close to losing it, and it goes down to 175. Needs to cool down a mule, otherwise he's going to lose it.
He does need to sort that out, because losing that CC is absolutely unnecessary, and he doesn't have an SCV to repair it. Well, the SCV might build in time. Actually, he might get away with that. I don't know. He's definitely not getting away with it now.
Good snipe there. Go get it. Quick.
Stab it. Stab it. I think even some sniping going off, and the glaive worm actually kills it eventually.
Well, there's one way to get rid of your mutas, I guess. He needs to get rid of them eventually, but I guess that's one way to get rid of them.
Well, he killed a CC and some ghosts, and now he can take 2 tanks. So this is fantastic.
2 more tanks above him, maybe, if he wants to continue to get rid of them, because he needs to get rid of them eventually. Anyway, we do have Infested Terrans on the top right now, getting ready to launch up, but look at that. Smartly, ThorZaIN already identifies the threat, and he's just going to go and stim and die.
Well, die might end up happening, and actually these guys don't have energy for fungal growth, so if a scan were to go down here, this would be devastating for DarKFoRcE. He'd lose 4 Infestors here, but needless to say, he's going to be smart, he's going to keep them there. ThorZaIN doesn't scan, he has no idea what's underneath, something lurking below right here.
Yeah, that's very good, and obviously the sensor tower doesn't reveal borrowed units, so that's very good because now he can keep them there for later on and later purposes. But meanwhile, the army is getting a little bit heavy now for DarKFoRcE as Broodlords are coming into play. Another Nidusworm is going down in the top right of that same location, and we do have Infestors taking down that army and Mutas cleaning it up as well.
DarKFoRcE is playing so well right now, and ThorZaIN is actually getting strangled. And he's been stuck on 4 bases, which is not where he wants to be. He wants to have more. He's got loads of CCs. And in the meantime, DarKFoRcE he takes every opportunity to do damage to ThorZaIN. He's picking him apart.
Yeah. But ThorZaIN, the Spoon Man, living to his name. Living to his name as he cuts the map, or tries to cut the map in half as much as possible. Right now, though, the money, look how much money ThorZaIN has banked up. Let's have a look at his production facilities, because he doesn't have that much, to be honest.
he can't spend it all.
For the amount of money he has banked up, he's only on like 7 barracks, which isn't that much at all, actually. That can't be right. Where are the rest of them? No, he's actually only on like 7 barracks.
That's really surprising. That's incredibly surprising.
Okay, found one more. 8 barracks, and 2, 3, 4 factories. That's not a lot. He's got a lot of starports, though.
Yeah, that's true.
3 starports. So
another Nidus going down somewhere. It's God knows where that was. That one was finally cleaned up down the bottom here. It's hard to spot these damn things. It's not in the base, that we know for a fact. We'd see that immediately, but once more snipes go off to try and pick the mutas out, but tanks are being picked off in the center. I mean, honestly, ThorZaIN's defense is looking really messy at the minute. He's even going to end up losing ghosts here to units that DarKFoRcE doesn't even want to keep a hold of anyway.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw battle cruisers come to play soon.
Really?
The way he's going, I mean, DarKFoRcE has not that much gas. Look, he's only got 800. His upgrades on the Brood, on the Corruptors, sorry. Let's have a look at the meters. 2-2, okay, but 2-0 is about a finish for the ships. So Broodlord Viking combination is not a bad mix. And we're actually seeing Seeker Missile come. So Raven also is another option he could do as well. But yeah, we're definitely going to see air come into play soon for ThorZaIN. And he'll work on those upgrades. He'll go to 3-0 as well with his air. And then we will be having an air Terran, a spoon in the air.
Sky
a flying spoon.
Yeah. Flying spoons, man. They're only in the SHOUTcraft.
Well, just kind of, they won't be heavy like we've seen some Terran players do. It'll just kind of be supporting air. definitely with the Ravens. Maybe a couple of Battle Cruisers, Vikings in the mix as well.
Yep.
Because with the amount of ghosts they are, I mean, they're going to snipe so many Corruptors so incredibly fast, and I don't really see an answer to anything of kind of air capabilities from ThorZaIN here.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. In the meantime, DarKFoRcE just hasn't been able to get a good attack in because the defense of ThorZaIN, regardless of losing tanks left and right and taking quite a lot of harassment damage, his defense is still holding. It's solid in the center, and it's going to be very difficult to break.
Ooh, multiple attacks now with Lings, because Lings are pretty much useless as well at this stage of the game, so he's just going to try and harass a little bit. And
so that's a lot of Banelings coming in, and it doesn't take the planetary out. That was a massive investment to do absolutely bugger all, so there you go. That's been held quite well. And resources lost. DarKFoRcE has thrown away a lot more at this point. Admittedly, he can't afford it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's got a large chunk of the map, which is obviously working in his favor here. Lings are still running around carelessly, picking off a turret, doesn't really do too much. 2 tanks are going to clean this up with a ghost as well. But there is that +3 attack now for the ship weapons and for the tanks. Personal cloakings for the ghosts. I guess that's a little bit late considering the time in the game, but overall, this is still a very much 50-50 game, can go either way.
Yeah.
Infested Terrans are coming down onto that right-hand side base now, but Ghost is just going to be able to pick them off rather fast here.
Very quickly.
Back.
Yeah, he does have to be a little bit careful. Doesn't want to, he's probably going to lose the refinery, but aside from that, it should be okay. But there you go. I'm actually surprised he didn't get the cloak sooner because he could have saved so many ghosts from that muta harassment that we saw earlier. But again, it doesn't seem to make a lot of difference because he's almost maxed out again. He's bringing those Ravens into play. 3 more command centers coming down. ThorZaIN is showing us some insanity. The amount of command centers he's building, and a lot of planetary fortresses actually. You got 1, 2, and that's just on the defensive there. And then you've got this one at the back, another CC next to it, and most likely going to be shifting. Well, he's going to be shifting purely into mule. He wants a large army. He wants to be able to get nothing but mules up to support his economy. Once again, Bentley's coming in to try and bring that down, but a lot of them are going to be taken out by these tanks already.
The Bailey's going for take 2, but
that's what kind of detonation we're going to... that was a good split there by ThorZaIN. Yeah, barely any damage done by those Bailey's.
But now it's finally time for the Broodlords to come into play, which have been building up over a large time in this game. As we hit the 30-minute mark.
Yep.
And they're going to be able to pick off this area rather fast here. The mobility of the army is so low because the army is so spread out across the entire of Tal'Dorei Malta. So I think this base may actually just go down in time, and DarKFoRcE can even pull out.
Potentially. I mean, he does have... Those buildings are tough. He's got building armor that's got 5 armor there. So with repairs, he may be able to hold off. The sniping is going off, trying to pick off Broodlords here and there. So he does have a little bit of response time, but he is taking a ton of punishment here. And he may end up losing that base, as you said.
Nice fungals. Oh.
Some very nice fungal right there. Absolutely fantastic. Wrecking that Ghost Scout completely, and ThorZaIN can't stop it. Down the base goes.
Yeah, very good play by DarKFoRcE because he knows that ThorZaIN is still spread out across the entire of the map. So he picks one location, which is ThorZaIN's economy, and that's very good now.
Stop poking at it, yeah.
What's ThorZaIN working on in terms of money? Main base mined out, pretty much. Natural mined out. 3rd mined out. 4th dead. 5th still running. Oh my god, 5th is running.
What the hell? That's 12 mules coming in right there. Yeah,
but that's going to mine out really, really fast.
Yeah,
and then
where's he going?
Do?
Yeah, where's he going from there?
He has to fight, so... Ravens are still in the making, and I guess that kind of battle cruiser play won't come into play if you can't expand, because it's so expensive. But Ravens are going to be able to do a lot of damage
20
here.
ghosts.
Auto turrets, seeker missiles, point defense drones, everything will come into play here.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's got to do damage here. He's got to wreck some bases because DarKFoRcE is maxed up again. ThorZaIN is not. ThorZaIN has just massively saturated this mineral line to the point where he's strip mining this place.
Yeah, it actually is going to just like
it's going to mine out in like a minute at this rate with that many mules. It's just ridiculous how much he's mining. And then, as you said, where do you go? Do you take this base again? Do you look to try and take bases up to the top here, where DarKFoRcE is actively harassing?
Yeah, and he's going to try and take the bottom left, which is what he's trying to do now. He's slowly pushing towards it. But all that needs to happen then, if he starts to take these bases, is the entire army of DarKFoRcE needs to come to the bottom left, and he just filter in one attack.
Yeah.
And then he should be able to do okay. But at the same time, that's hard to call, because there are so many ghosts. And let's have a look at the ghost count. It's at 20. Seeker missiles as well.
This is going to be interesting. It really, really is. And the fire comes in from the Vikings from the side. Oh, hello. He just grabbed that with a neural parasite. The Seeker Missile goes off and doesn't really seem to do all that much. Another Seeker Missile is going off there as well. It hits the center of that. The Neural Parasite holds the Raven off for a while. It doesn't actually end up wasting the energy. Seeker Missile into the center once again, but the problem is Broodlords can take that kind of punishment.
And he's splitting very well as well.
Yeah, he's
with
doing
the
well
units,
there.
the Infestors. He's splitting the Infestors very well, so Seeker Missiles aren't doing that much damage. And ThorZaIN is starting to crumble a little bit now.
Yeah, he's eating that right in the
EMP.
center.
Oh my god,
very
all the
good
Infestors
EMP.
are gone.
Yeah, those Infestors aren't going to be contributing,
Ghost,
but still.
Ghost can just walk in now and snipe everything if he decides
If
there's
he
no
can get,
fungal.
well, he needs to get out of the where the Broodlords, honestly, that's what he's really concerned about right there. And he's going to end up losing production facilities and more of his economy, which is not looking so great at all. And I know ThorZaIN took a lot of pounding there, and I don't think those Seekers really did the job.
Yeah, they didn't do that much. And the tanks are so spread out. These Ghosts are trying to go in there, but there's so many Overseers. There's infested Terrans always preventing them going. And the army's just so strong from DarKFoRcE right now.
It's a slow, scary march, isn't it? It's a slow,
And
scary
go.
march.
They're going to try and go in again, but look, he's already waiting for them.
Yeah, and the snipes are being used on the Corruptors.
Oh, that's actually kind of smart, actually, because now Vikings can go in and clean up. But
yeah, the thing is, there's only 2 of them. It's going to take ages, and ThorZaIN's going to end up taking damage. He must cloak, surely. He's got a cloak right now. He's out of range of the Overseers, at least at the moment. But sniping going on right here at a crazy level.
Expensive.
That is, in fact, a lot of damage. He killed a ton of Broodlords right there, as well as all of the Corruptors.
Like, this is when you transition into Ling Baneling, basically. Then we can always see a bunch of Lings being made, actually. It's still difficult to call because he doesn't have that much money.
No.
I mean, neither of them do, really. I mean, ThorZaIN has a lot banked up, but... Oh my god, okay, there go the mules again.
Yeah, we forgot about that. ThorZaIN has a pack of donkeys at his beck and call. But we'll see. I don't know. He's going for the planetary right there. He just wants to prevent any kind of harassment. Of course, he's right next to his opponent there as well. The planetary fortress is... The container's in place. He ain't going anywhere from that base.
And Planetary Fortress, with that upgrade as well, the armor upgrade, Lings aren't going to do anything.
He even got high auto tracking, so he's even got the range there as well, so that's a bit crazy.
Ghost picking off Lings on the right-hand side as well.
What is this game?
It's a ThorZaIN game.
It's a ThorZaIN game. This is very true. I think there's a reason why people like watching ThorZaIN. I think this is it.
And the reason why people don't like watching ThorZaIN too, I guess.
That's very, very true. Point defense zone goes down to keep all of those Vikings alive, no problem whatsoever. And there's 2 Corruptors coming in. That's nowhere near enough, honestly, especially up against these heavily upgraded Vikings. And Broodlords, well, 3 Broodlords coming in right now. He doesn't even want to use a Seeker Missile right now. There's nothing that can stop those Vikings right now from... I keep saying that. I need to stop it. I've just caught myself saying right now about 4 times in a row, and I'm not Fatboy Slim. I can't do that.
Right now.
The Funk Soul Brother.
ThorZaIN. He like never crosses the halfway line.
Nah. If ThorZaIN played American football, it would be the slowest game ever.
Yeah. ThorZaIN. I don't know what game ThorZaIN could play without crossing the halfway line properly.
I don't know, you could have...
Maybe tennis.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good choice for him, Apollo. Congratulations. Yeah, tennis. Yeah, that works. All right, in the meantime, oh, look, it's the Infestor Annoyance Squad coming in over here once again, and they'll be raining down some Infested Terrans upon this planetary fortress momentarily. ThorZaIN has, as I said to you, managed to secure another base, and he's almost mined out of here, but he's still got quite a lot of gas that he can continue to mining there, so he could bring in an awful lot more Ravens at some point in the not-too-distant future. Harassment comes down on the planetary fortress, not a big deal, that'll be easily cleaned up, and in the meantime... We've got lots more Vikings coming in to stop these Broodlords. It's going to be an interesting transition here because Ventral Sax is on its way up, and I think DarKFoRcE realizes the Broodlords are becoming untenable.
I'm surprised we haven't actually seen nukes come out.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just thinking about that.
That's exactly what he should be doing right now. He's got the ghosts for it, and he's got the money for it.
We're going to have a lot of snipes here, I think, onto these Infestors. Oh, they bore just in time in the top right. But he could scan, I guess. He knows that there he is.
Yeah, there you go.
Bye-bye.
No, you're not getting away.
But look at ThorZaIN slowly tapping... DarKFoRcE on the back with his spoon on this bottom left-hand side. He needs to take these bases, but they're almost mined out, really, because DarKFoRcE has been there so long. But these Vikings are at 3-3, man. They're starting to get pretty beefy.
Yep.
And Corruptors are only at 2-2.
Yeah, that is definitely the base not to build Corruptors on. The Infested Terrans come in. ThorZaIN needs to back off now. He's going to lose a Raven if he's not careful, and indeed the tanks are actually taking some pounding. Point defense drones are able to stop some of that happening, but that's 2 tanks down. In the meantime, we've got this harassment here as ThorZaIN goes for this hatchery up to the top, and he's now starting to reverse the stranglehold on his opponent.
Yeah, it's all about this bottom left base now because the top's been neutralized once again, and it's all about this bottom base. Who can prevent who from mining, who can mine, basically. At this stage of the game, that's all it's about. And right now, that ThorZaIN just can't quite get up there. There's Broodlords, Infestors, Banelings on the higher ground, which enables DarKFoRcE to mine from that base. And I think we're going to have a Nidus Worm on this right-hand side soon by this Overseer. And I think we're going to have Lings run into the main, which is a very, very smart choice, to be honest, from DarKFoRcE. So we'll see if that does happen. I think it's going to happen soon, but we'll keep tabs. Meanwhile, Marines from the top right are running to the top center now, but I think there's a little bit too many spines there. With transfuses as well. Yeah,
exactly, especially with transfuses, absolutely. You can bring down spines very rapidly with that, but in the meantime, what have we got? Well, in the meantime, I think is the name of this game, because we've always got action going on every side, and that Nidus Worm coming in, as you said, looking for the Ling run by into the main. What's his Ling count? I'd say 88. Yep, that's going to be nasty.
Yeah, he's just going to run into the main and start shredding it. All the production facilities, all the supply depots are going to start going down. So very nice choice there by DarKFoRcE, actually, considering that he can't really fight heads up against ThorZaIN at this current point in time, but he's trying to get back up to that beefy army he had earlier on. He's only at 6 Broodlords, 6 Corruptors, but these Lings are going to do a lot of damage here, man. This is like everything going down.
You see the mini-map? There's a giant conga line of Lings now moving across it. Yeah, that is absolutely going to do a huge amount.
Marines coming back. These are 3/3 Lings with adrenal glands. That handful of Lings... look.
And there's no medevacs, so the stim is going to just mean that these Marines fall to pieces. The Vikings even coming down on the ground, and they will be able to gun down Lings quite quickly, but this is a nasty bit of harassment right here by DarKFoRcE. It really is.
Yeah, it's been stunted a little bit now. Those Marines and Ghosts do pop out the barracks, but right now he's diverted the attention of the Vikings and so on, so his Broodlords and Corruptors can push down.
Everything goes on at once in this game, folks. We're at the 43-minute mark already, and TotalBiscuit once again proves why it's a fantastic map, in my honest opinion. We get this stuff happen, and it's so good. In the meantime, what the hell is going on? Well, actually, the action has stopped for once. So I suppose we can try and take stock. The question is, who the hell is ahead right now?
I don't know. It's still quite equal, to be honest. I think ThorZaIN's ahead if they go for a head-to-head battle, but apart from like mobility and so on, we do have DarKFoRcE. But eventually, we have to have a head-to-head fight, which ThorZaIN will win. Because he's just got better upgrades, he's got a better army composition, he has equal or more supply most of the time. And the upgrades are good for DarKFoRcE, but a 2/2 Corruptors and Broodlords compared to 3/3 Vikings and Ghosts and so on, there's a big difference there.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with Raven support. I mean, his air superiority at the moment is very powerful as a result of having those Ravens there. But what have we got? Well, that's a lot of Corruptors and no Raven support being brought in, and in come the Ghosts are able to do quite a bit of damage, but they expend a lot of energy, and they didn't take out the Broodlords either. Actually, did they? No, he did manage to hit a few, certainly. But that takes the Broodlord count back down to 3. The Corruptor count moving in as well, and more Lings, but I don't know, man. DarKFoRcE is starting to get really starved economically.
Yeah, and the supply, even though it's a little bit in DarKFoRCE's favor, you have to remember that that ThorZaIN has killed so many SCVs. He's mostly mining for mules. So always remember that. And DarKFoRcE being very smartly picking off the command centers, which have the mules. So he's hurting ThorZaIN a lot by doing that, which is very, very smart.
Yeah, I'm liking his style here. He's just having to slowly pick him apart because what choice does he have? And also he's playing for time. He never wants ThorZaIN to be able to mass and push. That would be the worst thing for him to happen. As you said, in a head-to-head fight, ThorZaIN wins. ThorZaIN is constantly spread out the entire time this game to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, and there's not that much gas on the field left for DarKFoRcE. He can't build Overseers, Corruptors, and Broodlords, and Infestors, and Banelings, and the list goes on.
So Apollo, there's 32 Ghosts, by the way. Just want to point that out.
Yeah.
That's quite a few.
Pretty much beats everything apart from Ling Baneling, which is not that... Well, even it beats Lings right now because there's not that many Lings. Yeah, there's almost one Ghost for one Ling.
Is this game of Starcraft 2, or are we actually watching Battlecraft right here?
This is crazy, man.
I'm not sure. I don't think I've even seen that many Ghosts in Battlecraft. He's building another 4 as well. I think he's going to transition to pure Ghost at this rate.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good, especially if you hit every EMP and every snipe. It's just amazing. And even head-to-head, like... Ghosts are going to be very good against Lings, even if they just fight normally with their usual guns. They don't even have to snipe.
Oh yeah, I mean they do 26 damage. You can two-shot a Ling, no problem at all. So
it's just very slow DPS, but overall it's very good.
Yeah, he's also about to take this base out unless DarKFoRcE responds to this very, very rapidly, and that's going to open up a ton of possibilities. If that gas goes down,
I think that we're going to have to see DarKFoRcE push soon. He's going to have to take a fight, which I don't think he can win. the spoon is actually living to his name right now.
He sharpened it up.
Yeah, he's
It's
sharpened the
serrated.
spoon, and DarKFoRcE has to fight, and a fight he can't win, I don't think.
DarKFoRcE is, yeah, he's been gradually strangled here by ThorZaIN over the course of a 50-minute game. ThorZaIN is now almost maxed out. 2 more tanks coming in to make it so, and in comes the wave of Vikings, and a huge salvo of Lancet torpedoes comes in, but that's a brilliant fungal there by DarKFoRcE. Cleans up the air. More harassment coming in as Marines are able to take out this base as well, and also bring down the Nidus Worm. It's all happening.
Yeah, you know, he's just been outplayed late game, or outstrangled. I don't even know what to call it.
Well, this is what we said, isn't it? This is what we said DarKFoRcE would try and do, is to win the mid game, because he can't win the late game against ThorZaIN, and ThorZaIN being absolutely ridiculous and constantly on the ball this entire game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, at this stage of the game, DarKFoRcE is missing almost every single lava inject. He doesn't have queens all over the map anymore. He doesn't have lava anymore. So it's not looking that good for DarKFoRcE. And pure lings against this,
Not a chance. What, tank,
No way.
ghost, raven? No.
So this is looking slowly but surely. DarKFoRcE is gonna get slapped out the game by a spoon, and a wooden one at that.
It's taken so very long. You get splinters from those. They get eventually infected, and I think that's a good analogy for this game, honestly.
Yeah. Man,
Nobody's building
I'd like
anything.
to see an episode of Criminal Minds with ThorZaIN in it.
Why? That episode would go on for 7.5 hours.
Oh well. This is interesting though.
It would be a damn good episode,
It's been a good
though.
game. It's been a very good game, but I think it's drawing near its end. You know, he's slowly crawling to this left-hand side, and that's where the Broodlords and everything is. It's like a game of single player where you just have to finally crawl through the multi-million.
Well, the amount of Nidus worms,
Nidus
yeah,
worms,
it does actually remind me of it. Yeah, unfortunately, ThorZaIN shells his own ghosts right there, but he's okay. He's got more.
Now. He can cloak. There's no.
Oh my God! That's what seeking missiles for, ladies and gentlemen, and that I think is going to be the nail in the coffin here for DarKFoRcE.
Yeah, I can't. DarKFoRcE is trying to savor his units, but nah.
Oh, someone's savouring it, I can tell you
I mean,
that
at
for
the
a
end
fact.
of the day, DarKFoRcE doesn't want to lose a 51-minute game. That's the worst feeling. If you lose a 5-minute game, it's like, oh.
He doesn't have a choice at this point, I
know,
don't think.
So it gets very, very frustrating, and he's now trying to mine at the top right, and he's got a lot of bases. Well, he's got 2 bases up there. He can mine efficiently from that, but you know, ThorZaIN's not going to allow that. He's almost maxed out here. He can move his army from bottom left now to top right, and once he moves from the bottom left to top right, I think that will be the final nail, because DarKFoRcE wants to try and mine from these 2 bases up there, but yeah.
Not going to happen, man. Not going to happen. Why build so many ghosts and not build a nuke, though? I've got to say, at least have one. You never know when it might come in handy.
Yeah, could have put on a show.
Oh, definitely. Well, I mean, I also view nukes as extremely important for zoning, for instance, to force your opponent to move their forces. Because like, they've got to move. And also, at this stage of the game, when you've got this many bases, which base is the nuke in?
Yeah, exactly. And that little red dot, it's very hard to find, especially when you're playing in red.
Yeah, exactly. DarKFoRcE decides to pick red. You know, there's a bit of a tactical piece of advice. If you're playing against Terran, never pick red.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can't see that dot.
Well, the kind of glimmer of hope at the end of the tunnel, I guess, for DarKFoRcE is if these bases get mining and he can start to get that gas income high again.
Yeah.
And then he can start to build a better army, because he can't even build Broodlords right now. He just doesn't have enough gas or money at all. And there comes the slow push from ThorZaIN. He's just cleaning up the bottom left, and is going to start marching across with these ghosts to the top right, where he's going to pick off these bases.
I just want to point out as well how, just looking at this screen, how efficient ThorZaIN's been this entire game. Look at the number of resources. Almost 1,000 units destroyed, 75,000 resources, and only 45,000 lost by ThorZaIN. That difference could be 2 games right there worth of difference.
And
it's insanity.
He knows he's won now. He's
got it. He's got it. There's no real doubt about that. This last-ditch attempt from DarKFoRcE will be the last strangled cry. It's like, but DarKFoRcE would never plead for mercy. You know that for a fact. He'd go out screaming obscenities at his opponent as he strangled the life out of him. And I can tell you that for a fact. And my God, is he getting the life strangled out of him now?
Yeah, I mean, he could potentially win a fight if all the tanks were in siege, but even then, 3-3 Ghosts and Marines are going to beat Lings so hard. And now the Vikings auto turrets will probably pick off this base at the right-hand side. Yeah.
Down go the auto turrets. Auto turrets are wonderful things.
He can just surround the hatchery with auto turrets and
definitely
take it down.
Yep.
So he doesn't need to put them behind the mirror line.
GG.
Jesus Christ, ThorZaIN.
Well,
G to the G.
now I think we've now discovered why bringing ThorZaIN into a tournament is both a good idea and a bad idea. Well, it's a good idea because we get some amazing games. It's a bad idea because our schedule will never survive. Oh, dear.
That's funny. You stretch after that. Everyone needs to go and do like 10 press-ups to actually wake up a little bit.
I'm going to just put the punching bag together. I'm just going to work on it for about 5 minutes. Oh, God. ThorZaIN, what are you doing? That was... ThorZaIN is so amazingly good. I'm sorry. Like, there are very few players that can keep their composure and finesse for that long. ThorZaIN has unbelievable stamina when it comes to this game.
And guess what map? It's bloody Daybreak, and that's a big map as well.
Yes, the map of the year there from the one and only Team Liquid, but it's going to result in...
That's a very good map, but when ThorZaIN is playing like this, it could be an hour.
We could be here a while.
And especially if DarKFoRcE wins. Oh well.
But a great game from ThorZaIN. A great game for both players, honestly, and you can go and show your appreciation over at SHOUTcraft.com if you wish, and actually set up a tip for either of these guys.
I don't think there's an option to like kind of get a refund on tips from ThorZaIN, so...
No.
I'm joking, by the way. All right, let's go ahead and get into this next game. Pretty much, we have to kind of...
I think we're going to take a 2-minute ad break, and then we're going to come back with the next game.